darlings, it's Wenzy and today I want to talk about a very controversial topic, and I understand it's going to be triggering. You've read the title. The title of my video is Don't Have Kids If You're Broke. And I stand by that. I said what I said, and I'm saying it from the perspective of someone who has the lived experience. I know what it's like to live with parents who did not have a financial plan when they had you. I'm talking from my own personal experience, and if you are an individual who already has children, this is not a target at you. This is not me trying to virtue signal. This is not me trying to shame anyone. I am talking mostly to the people who want to have kids young, who want that fantasy to have a child young and grow old with your child, and grow old but still be young, closer in age with your child. I know a lot of us have that fantasy. We want to have kids really young. But I think we have to be realistic about these things. Personally, let me share first with my personal experience. I was raised by luckily I have two parents and I have a stepdad. My mom and dad, my biological parents, had me when I think my mom was 17 and my dad was 21 or 22. They were very young when they had me. And with them being so young, obviously they did not have a financial plan. Also, just the background in itself, where I come from, there's not a lot of money to pass around. There's no wealth, basically, you know what I'm trying to say. So how I grew up, basically, I mean, my parents did their best. They did their best to raise me. They tried, which I honestly am thankful for. But because of the lack of financial planning, there was a lot of things I could not have access to because of that. A lot of the times, my parents wanted to send me to the best schools because I was always an intelligent child. I was an intelligent kid. They wanted to send me to the best schools, but they could not afford to send me to the best schools. I would get sick as a child, and my parents had to deal with having to take me to a public clinic or a public hospital, which takes more time. You literally spend most of the time at a public clinic waiting to get help. You spend the majority of the time just waiting to get help. You could literally, people can even die from that, die while they're in the waiting room. You deal with a lot of comparison, like when you're around other children who have certain clothing, who can afford the full school uniform. Like, I did not have a full school uniform. Like, you know how school uniforms in South Africa have a blazer, have a pullover. I never had the full school uniform until later on in life, like probably grade 12, like high school years. But as a child, I've never had a complete uniform because my parents could not afford to have an extra expense of buying me extra uniform. Another thing is around excursions. You know how in schools there's always excursions, there's always trips to the zoo, learning trips. Seeing my parents just struggle with that, struggling to just have me go to these trips like other kids, and generally just not having even lunch money at times. Not having lunch money. Imagine, and you don't even have a lunch box to go to school. You don't have those things because your parents don't have money. So I say this to say, yes, we all have the fantasy to want to have children when we're young, when we're still more fertile, when we still have more energy in our bodies. But we must also be realistic. It's okay to have kids young when you have the financial means. Because I don't like, yes, children are a blessing. They are. But they're also a financial burden. Yeah, children are amazing. Children are a blessing to the world. Children are God's gift. But children are also a financial burden. They are a debit order and a lifetime one for 21 years. So I don't like people always having this fantasy that, no, have kids young so you can grow old with them. You can see your grandkids and all that. I'm like, yeah, in a perfect world, that would be nice. In a world where everyone had the financial means to take care of a child, that would be nice. A majority of South Africans the minimum wage in South Africa is less than 3,000 Rand in South Africa. So you're telling me that a majority of people who cannot even afford to have children must have children. I am talking from my personal experience, from my life experience, that it is torturous to bring a child into the world when you cannot take care of them. I did not like not having access to things because my parents couldn't afford things. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah, people like to say this. But you grew up, you're strong, you went to university, you have these degrees. I'm like, yes, I have those things, but let's not fetishize struggle. There's nothing beautiful about struggling as a child. There is nothing beautiful about it. Struggling to have certain things that other kids who have working parents have. There's nothing nice about that. But so many people are off the idea that, no, but it builds character. When a child grows up with nothing, it builds character. I'm like, do you realize that we are basically promoting generational trauma? I don't believe in bringing my child into the world if I cannot afford to raise them. I just don't think that is fair. I don't think that is logical. It is, for me, I see it as actual abuse. If you don't have the financial means, please do not. Please do not. And I understand we do get into relationships. Sometimes guys promise girls to be there. But if you can look at a guy. You can always look at a guy and tell if he can actually provide for a child. If you can tell that this man can't even take care of himself, why are you having a child with him? Why? I'm sorry, like I understand. I can say, yes, people make mistakes in life, but this is one mistake that is permanent. Having a child is permanent. You have that for the rest of your life, up until you die. That is the majority of the cases. You have a child up until you die. You have to take care of that child. So I think we have to be realistic about things. We have to be more... People don't like planning, but I feel like planning is the best thing. You must plan. Have a plan of how you're going to take care of your child, because there's nothing more sad than being envious of other kids who have parents who can do everything for them. It was not nice to watch other kids have parents who can take them places, can give them better education, can give them better healthcare services, can give them just better support in general, like can be able to nurture their dreams. Another thing I forgot to mention this. Not having a financial plan, even though it was something my parents, it happened to them when they were extremely young. It affected me even towards university. I struggled to pay my school fees at university. I struggled because my parents couldn't afford the university fees, and luckily 6 months into first year I got financial aid. But if it wasn't for that financial aid, I don't know what would have happened. So I'm saying this to say, have kids when you're financially stable, please. I am pleading as someone who has gone through that life experience of dealing with parents, being raised by parents who are struggling. It is not glamorous. Don't romanticize struggle. Please don't. Yeah, so this is not a target or a jab at anyone who already has a child. It is okay, I understand that cannot be erased, but I'm talking mostly to the people who want to have children. Please plan, girl. And yeah, this is very different from my usual videos, and I hope you guys are learning something. I hope I'm giving something of value back to you guys, and thank you for watching.